Okay. Actually, first let's do the saying for the week, quote for the week.
So, if y'all are wondering, I just about broke my nail off.
No, it wasn't, but thank you. Is that y'all's? Quote for the week. From John Maxwell. I'm waiting.
Wait, our assignment's due today.
John Maxwell.
Video analysis assignments. Question 4, quiz, and question 5.
Either put it in your phone or put it on a piece of paper or something. Wherever you put the quotes of the week. John Maxwell.
At 12:30 a.m. Video analysis.
John Maxwell said, we first
Wait.
form habits. John Maxwell.
It was
John Maxwell.
John, is it regular John?
Yes.
Maxwell, regular?
Regular Maxwell. We first form habits. We first form habits. Then habits form us. We first form habits. Then habits form us. That's it. We are what we continually do. That's who we are.
Okay, I think I broke.
Working out.
I didn't break it. I
Oh.
just, I don't know what happened.
Does this computer have lockdown browser on it?
Yes.
Does this just pop up on it?
Is it Respondus? I know how, I have an email on how to fix it.
No, it's fixed.
Let's
I
fix it.
think it's there.
Oh, we got the little tip stuff. But Chris can't do that because it costs money and also it makes her, she's allergic to whatever they do.
She can't get her nails done?
Like our hands will start itching like crazy. So she does little fakes, she does little stuff, cheap stuff.
Stickers.
Yeah, or like little things that go on.
What did you do to your chin?
I was shaving and I got in a hurry and just kind of scraped, like scraped. And it was just blood everywhere.
The Packers won.
I know. Me and Titan figured it out. He said, Dad, tell you what, if they do something good, we'll just talk about how bad it is. If they do something bad, we'll talk about how great it is. And that's when they started playing really good. When they started. It was an awful run, wasn't it, Titan? Yeah, it was horrible. I hated it. Pretty good.
Oh my word.
What's up?
Wait, Alice is doing 4 days.
What?
It's-
Look in your
oh, yeah,
book,
the syllabus.
the very back, the blue pages, and find the Constitution. Should be have flags on it, on the outside. And when you find it, count how many pages just the Constitution is, not the amendments, but the Constitution.
The dance was really good, Coach Rob. Do you want to see videos of what like it looks
Pictures?
like? I don't mind great though. This is what it looks like before I videoed it. Summer and cleanly
They don't our pictures or?
Thanks. And then this desserts and this was the food table.
Yeah, golly,
Yeah, just take pictures of the.
man.
Well, there's the dates.
And I made like $200 and something, but I had to use it to rent a car for the parade, so.
26, I thought.
Huh?
Miss
Oh, what?
Wagner bought a bunch of stuff, so it's
Did
almost
you get
done.
your signs? Good work.
Oh, I can't remember.
You have a picture?
It just says not a picture. It says Broken Khaki.
Okay, yeah. And it's really only half pages.
Yeah.
So, is that more or less than you thought the Constitution should be?
More.
So I tell our government what to do? Did you think it'd be real thick?
I did too.
Not really, because the people have the power.
Right, but all the rules of like how this is all supposed to say, it's really pretty short for what it does. And we only use Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, Article 4 kinda, and Article 5. 6 and 7 are just like how to ratify the Constitution and how to. So look at the First Amendment. The tan writing is what the Constitution says. The white writing explains what the tan writing says. So the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law. So the government will not, and the first line there is establish a national religion. So government will not establish a national religion. So this little girl over here, I knew she existed. She had even asked me a question one time, and I answered it, so we'd spoken to each other. Did that establish anything? No. I asked her out. We went out for a while. Asked her to marry me. She said yes. We got married. Does that establish anything? Yes. Which kind of true?
Can I go to Miss Mary's?
Sure.
How long did it take you to ask her to marry? It was in the truck, remember?
We went out in May, end of Memorial Day Saturday. And I asked her the middle of October. 6 months. Well, I've always around and let her have a chance to go somewhere with me. Now, establishing something is more than I know it exists, or I've been around it, or I've seen it. Establishing a religion, a national religion. In England, what did the people have to do to the Church of England? They had to pay taxes. That's establishing a religion. It would force action. Congress, the government cannot force a religion on us. For instance, paying taxes. To a church. I want to throw something out. Let's say there's drug rehab programs. And there's one that has an 89% success rate. That's pretty good. There's a government one over here that has a 35% success rate. Would it be okay to give taxpayer money to this one over here that has an 89% success rate? The problem is, it's a church. It's a church-run program. Is there some... If you're taking taxpayer money and giving it to a church, that could begin getting to here. I'm not really for. Does it work? Didn't move, did it?
Yeah, I can.
Did it move? I didn't think it did. Oh, there we go. I am not for taxpayer money going to a church. I would be for this if you could guarantee it's not going to the church, it's only going to the drug rehab program. Because I don't want the government and churches having any kind of say-so over the other. But that's your first religious right. It cannot be forced on you. You can't force action. I represent the government, and I would hope I've told you that Jesus Christ died for you sometime this year. And that His sacrifice meant you could have eternal relationship with God. You don't have to buy it. Does that affect your life at all for me to say that? No. What if I give you a test over it and your grade? Now, that's forcing action. So I do represent the government because I get paid by taxpayer money. So I can tell you about it. I can even bring my Bible to school and have it out here. I can even read it here. I can pray over here. But that's not forcing anything on you. Okay? Now the second part of it, it says, Congress will not keep you from practicing. Government cannot pass a law keeping you from practicing your religious beliefs. In Houston, several years ago, how long ago? Probably it was 8 to 10 years ago. In the middle of the big controversy about gay marriage, same-sex marriage and stuff. Houston, I think it was either the mayor or the city council proposed something that would force preachers in Houston to submit their sermons to the government to see if it was okay with what they were preaching about. What you have to do in America, you can't take something and put your opinion on it to decide whether it's right or wrong. You have to look at it and flip it and see if it, like, make it the opposite and see if it's still okay. So like I'm what's that?
So if I were to have the church, no, what the government has to do.
The government would have say-so over what the preachers were preaching. Now, if you're an atheist, you're like, yeah, that's fine. But that's not, you can't do that. You have to flip it and see if, for freedom's sake. No, I didn't put this up here. Put this down somewhere on the top or under this. Or First Amendment rights are you can say or do whatever you want. As long as you don't infringe on others' rights. You can say or do whatever you want as long as you don't infringe on others' rights. And you have no right to not be offended. Say or do whatever you want, as long as you don't infringe on others' rights. You have no right to not be offended. It means that you should go through life offended in America. Because it means you're free. You might see, like if you're an atheist and you see my Bible, it might offend you, but that's okay. I might hear the song you're playing and be offended by that. And that's okay, because I have to let you be who you are, and you gotta let me be who I am. As long as we're not infringing on each other's rights. Like affecting your health, affecting your property, affecting your paycheck. As long as it doesn't do that, it's okay, because it doesn't really impact you. That's your religious rights. Can't be forced on you, can't be kept from practicing. The second part, there's 5 rights here. That's the first one, there's 2 parts. The second part is Congress will not abridge freedom of speech, will not lessen your freedom of speech. Patient yelled at his coach Saturday at the game. We were watching on the computer. He turned around, Mom said, "What'd he do?" So I didn't see that part. He turned around and yelled at the coach. He yelled at him, he yelled back. So after the game, Chris sent a message, said, "What was the deal?" He goes, "Well," he yelled at me, he said, "Pacer, you missed your block." I turned around and said, "No, I didn't miss my block. I got my block." He said, "You missed it." He goes, "No, I didn't." And after the game, the coach apologized, and then he apologized because he just didn't say yes, sir. He did get his block. In the next play, he went and blew up the linebacker. It was pretty nice. I like it. Now, if you go to the library, they probably have an unabridged dictionary. Everybody seen an unabridged dictionary before? It's that thick. That big. It's got every word. Abridged means to shorten it or lessen it. So the government will not pass a law lessening your freedom of speech. You're free to say and do whatever you want, as long as you don't infringe on other people's rights. Now, tell you about the guy in the dress. California, several years ago, this might have been 2007, a guy wanted to wear a dress to work. He's a salesman. What is this?
Cars?
What's that? Not for cars, for like products. Like he goes around.
You've already told us this
I told you that one. If you're a salesman, who do you represent?
Business.
The company. It's not you. And you sued the company because they said, no, you ain't wearing a dress to work. The court said, the judge said, you have a right to wear a dress. You don't have a right to a job. So yes, you can wear the dress all you want, but not to work. And if you wear it to work, you'll be fired, and there's nothing to be done about it. So it's your choice. You can either have this job, or you can wear the dress. You can't wear the dress to that job. You find a job where you can wear the dress to. But I mean, he has freedom of speech. He has the right to do that, but there is consequences. You can't yell fire in a movie. That's against the law. Why would that be against the law? You cannot cause damage to other people for no reason, and people can get trampled trying to get out of the fire. Do you have a right in your car? You can do that. Could you get pulled over for it?
You may now post attendance.
Technically, yes.
Thank you.
Certain fees.
Because I have a right not to feel that in my house. Now, if I hear your radio, is that necessarily a problem?
No.
But feeling it
Yeah.
and maybe just having it blaring in your house, that's a little bit, because I might be working at night, you know. So you have a right to play that. If you go into a dollar store, be a little tight. He's wearing the big, huge letters, FU t-shirt. He has a right to wear that shirt. And I have a right not to have a little tight and see that. They're both important. But anyway, freedom of speech, there is consequences. I think what the founding fathers were talking about more was political speech, without getting thrown in prison, or you have the right to that opinion no matter what. All right.
Or the press.
Well, yeah, that's the next one. The press. The press is independent. In other countries, the government controls the news media. In America, the press is free. What are they free to do?
Say whatever they want.
As long as it's true. They are free to report the truth. There are times where they're censored. It could be national security stuff. They could censor. Usually like war stuff especially. Are there times the government censors stuff in the name of national security when it's really not national security?
I'm sure.
Yes, it is true. If I get arrested, say I get arrested for murder, the Wise County Messenger, big, huge letter says, Paradise teacher arrested for murder. Is that okay? That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Can it say Paradise teacher murders student?
Only 50 students.
If the trial is taking place and been found guilty, they can do that. You can't do that before, because that's not true yet. We don't know if it's true or not. The trial hadn't taken place. You can't call someone a murderer or a rapist before the trial. Does that make sense? There's something called libel and slander. Basically, you don't have the right to destroy someone's character or reputation falsely. Libel, I think, is written. Slander is spoken. Just like the news, if the news lies about you, there is legal stuff you can do about it. You're at a change of venue. If I was to get accused of murder in Wise County, is it possible that that trial would be, maybe I'm known and people have preconceived notions. So you'd want to move it to another place where nobody knows anything about this, where you get a fairer trial. That's what change of venue is.
I figure it's along those lines, I'm sure.
Hmm?
I figure it's along those lines.
Yeah.
All of those insurance.
All right, the last two always go together. You have assembly and petition. You have the right to get together and gripe. I always use Greg and Larry because we went to college together. Can I take a sign down to the courthouse and walk around and say, Greg Lowry is stupid? Greg Lowry is stupid. He's a district attorney. Greg Lowry is stupid. Do I have a right to do that? Yes, I do. Can I get a couple people with me?
Yeah.
And all be chanting, Greg Lowry is stupid. We can do that. Can I get 20 people and block the entrance to the courthouse? That's infringing on people's rights. Could we get in the way of traffic? Could we get in the way of people going to the businesses? No. If you get arrested at a protest, that's what it's for. Now, is there some gray area where the cops maybe just don't like you and they can say, well, you were doing this? Yeah, that could happen. You could go to the city and you could get a permit. And at 4 o'clock on Friday, they shut down the streets, barricade the streets, and you can have a little protest rally there. If you're trying to get home and the streets are blocked, is that infringing on your rights? If they've gone through the city and the city has said, hey, Friday at 4 o'clock, we're gonna block this street off, so you need to find another way home. That's just how the cow eats cabbage. So you have the right to get together and gripe, but you can't infringe on other people's rights. How about the people who live behind the football stadium? Maybe they're trying to get to sleep. There's a big game going on. That's just when you bought. If you bought the house behind the football stadium, you know what's fixing to happen. Maybe when they're fixing to build a football stadium, you're like, hey, I don't want it here. And if you can convince them not to build it there, then I would like. Christy wanted to buy that White House. By the football stadium, you know the White House there? Used to be the daycare a long time ago. I was like, look, Christy, see, we could buy it and rebuild it. I said, but I don't want to rebuild a house. Because then you basically end up just tearing it down and rebuild it anyway. I don't want to pay twice for a house. So I said, no. That would be pretty good to have a house there. You just walk around. All right, that should be all the First Amendment. All make sense? It's easier when there's not 22 people.